Hey there guys, it's Liz here, and I'm about to share a really intense but important story with you guys that happened to me 4 years ago when I took my very first fat burner. And I share this with you guys because I want you to understand what you're getting yourself into if you don't know what you're looking for when it comes to a fat burner. If you don't know what to look for on a label, if you don't know what is actually in there, how much danger you can put yourself in. So I'm going to share with you guys my story about what happened to me and how I literally almost died when I took my first fat burner. It recommended to me by somebody that I had actually really trusted and I thought they knew what they were doing until I learned to do my own research 4 years later. But hey Christina, hey Vicky, thanks everyone for hopping on. Hope you guys learned something from this. I'm going to tell you which fat burner I was taking. I'm going to actually give you an example of another one that you guys really need to look out for and give you a little bit of a background as far as what you want in a good fat burner. And guys, this applies to pre-workouts too. For those of you guys that are out there that try to take a pre-workout, that maybe feel like you need a little boost before you go to the gym, this same thing applies because a lot of pre-workouts have similar properties as fat burners. So my experience happened when I was probably about like 6 weeks out from my first figure competition, and I was to the point where like I was pretty lean, but I wanted that extra boost, right? Like we always want, it doesn't matter where you are, you're like, I want to look better, like I want to look leaner, I want to get where I want to be. So you're really antsy, and so you're willing to add in like anything that you can. So I went to a local supplement store, and the guy's there that like I really trust, and he knows a lot. But I told him, I was like, I want to try a fat burner, but I've never done it before, and I'm pretty sensitive to caffeine, so be careful what you recommend to me. So he told me to try this product called Synadrex, and I'm going to show you guys the label in a second so you know exactly like what I realized when I was looking at this 4 years later. But he gave me this product, and so I took it. I went to go get my suit fitted. It was literally a half-hour drive where I was going, and I'm there, and I'm getting my suit fitted, and I'm literally like, I'm pounding. Like my heart is beating so fast. I'm sweating, but I'm freezing. And yes, like I know like I'm like always cold, but I was literally freezing. And then she's like, you know, finished doing my suit, and I am on my way driving home, get to Mike's house. This is before we were even, you know, like engaged. Like I said, this was 4 years ago. And I get there and I was like, babe, I think I need to go to the hospital. And he's like, what? And I'm like, seriously, I went to the store and they gave me this fat burner, and I said I was sensitive to caffeine. I took half the dose, like the minimal dose that you could possibly ever take to assess your like how vulnerable you are to it, or, you know, your ability to be able to adapt to it. And I'm literally pounding. Like I didn't know what to do. So we were literally like laying in bed. He was like, just watch a movie and relax. And all I could do is be like, oh my God, I'm seriously gonna die. Like I'm like, need to take me to Reading Hospital right now. And I know that there's people out there that you guys feel like this, where it's like, I know Lauren was saying earlier she experienced this. Yeah, Tanner, metabolic nutrition, that's what you're talking about, Synadrex. And they've actually had to take this fat burner off the shelf a couple of times because the same thing happens to other people, and it's dangerous. Guys, this is what I mean by the FDA doesn't have to approve supplements. So if you have something that's on the shelf and doesn't have studies, this is what happens. What happened to me is what can happen to you, because it can be on the shelf for like 5 years, could be on longer than that, and you literally can have the worst experience. There are people that die from certain supplements. Sean, I know that you said you had the same exact symptoms, and you get to the point where you're like, yeah, how could this even be sitting on the shelves? Well, until that happens to somebody, it just sits there. And then the FDA makes them take it off the shelf, and they have to reformulate it. They can change one single ingredient that's like very minuscule, put it back on, and it can really be almost the same like concoction, but they just change something slightly. So they get away with putting it back on. So basically I'm sitting there thinking like, this is it for me. Like I'm dying at 22 years old. And like, you know, I was trying to drink a lot of water. I was trying to eat food. I was like, maybe something else can absorb it. And it was later in the night, like I was shoving my face with everything. And it was later in the night, I felt like I finally came down off of it, but I was like, this is total BS. Like, how did somebody think I was okay with this? So I look at the label, guys, and I print it out because I want you guys to see it, and I want you to know what to look for. Pre-workouts and fat burners. Look at this. So Synadrex, this is what I was taking. So you can see this is their little proprietary blend. For those of you guys that didn't take my my course, my webinar on how to read labels, when you have a proprietary blend, you can't guarantee how much of each thing is in there. So literally, like they're like, oh yeah, like there's 614 milligrams of these ingredients together. Caffeine's first, guys. That means that's the big thing that's the most potent in there. That's the thing that there is most of. So you have caffeine, anhydrous. That's like the first ingredients, freaking caffeine. And he thought that this was a good idea, that I should take this. Like, I don't even know. I don't even know what to say. But then, you go through and you look at everything else, and I'm like, can you recognize any of the things that were on this? Like, guys, 4 years ago, I didn't look at labels. I didn't know what to look for. And look at where I ended up. Like, I seriously, almost died. I swear to God, if I wouldn't have been hydrating myself, I was this close to going to the emergency room. But I'm like, oh my God, maybe I can come down off of it. My boyfriend or husband now is trying to calm me down. So this is what this looked like. Guys, if you have a label where caffeine is in the first 1 or 2, you need to watch out for it. This is Synadress. This is what I was taking. But I'm telling you, Hydroxycut, a really common one that I know many of you guys either ask me about or have taken. Guys, this is in every store. Literally, every Walmart, Target, GNC Vitamin Shop. And so if you look at Hydroxycut, look, so this is their Hydroxycut blend. 441 proprietary blend, okay? First thing that's there, guys, this says it's the Robusta coffee extract. This is their caffeine source here. It's the first ingredient. Yes, they don't tell you how much of it is in there, but it's the first one, so it's a freaking lot. And then, yeah, Tanner, I know that you said you never looked at labels until my husband made you aware of it. Most people don't. You kind of just trust the people in the store thinking, they know what they're talking about. Guys, I had a degree at that point and I still didn't know. This is a totally different ball game here. Supplements are different. So then you go through and you look and you're like, oh, okay, then there's some natural stuff. There's a little bit of fruit, maybe a drop of blackberry something or another. And then you get down here and it's their Hydroxy Boost caffeine anhydrous. It's the first freaking thing. So you look and you see, and maybe they'll give you a couple highlights of some natural stuff that's in there, but it's at the bottom. There's not a lot. Look at your labels of your food and the thing, the ingredients that listed first, that's the one that there's the most of. So, this already says this alone supplies you 200 milligrams of caffeine. Just that one. Just that one. That's not even including the caffeine that's up here and all the other stimulants that are in there. And that's for most people, that's at least a good 3 big cups of coffee. Okay? So that's Hydroxycut. But I'm going to tell you guys what fat burn is. This is the fat burner I was talking about when I did my live 2 days ago on the fat burning, appetite suppressing coffee with the fat burn combo. So this is one of the specials that's going on for the cyber specials, guys. It's going on till tomorrow, 10 p.m. MST. But the reason that I like Physique, guys, look at this type of label. This is what you want to look for. So you can see that there's 3 different types of B vitamins and you have folic acid, okay? Then you get to the bottom and yes, there's a proprietary blend. Again, I'm saying you have to look at the order of which the ingredients are in there and which ones are most potent. And if a company is reliable and they're of good quality, if you ask them how much of these are in there and you can get an answer, I think that that's pretty reliable. I know how much caffeine is in Physique Fat Burn because there is a little bit, but it's 22 milligrams. It's a quarter cup of coffee. It's literally nothing. I've never had anybody have an issue with it. So, but when you look at this, okay, so you have Sinatrol, that's their first plant-based ingredient. You have all these other plant-based ingredients here, natural plant-based ingredients. Then you get to the bottom. This is the source of caffeine. This is the Svetol green coffee bean or green coffee seed extract. And like I said, look, 22 milligrams, like I said, it's at the bottom of the list of the proprietary blend. And the fact that LifeVantage is willing to tell you how much is in there, that's a lot better than if you would go, and I guarantee if you go and email Hydroxycut and ask how much of the caffeine is in there, they're not going to end up telling you what it is. They're not going to get back to you. So any company that's able to give you what their proprietary blend ingredients are and the potency of each, that's what you have to trust. So guys, if you're looking at a fat burner, do not get something that looks like this, that caffeine is their main reason that you're burning all this fat. Because guess what? You're going to sit there like me and your heart's going to be beating like this and your blood pressure is so high and you're freaking out, your anxiety is so high that guess what? That's why you're burning all the calories, because your body's trying to keep you from dying. So please do yourself a favor. Look at your pre-workouts. Look at your fat burners. Look at the labels and see what's in there. If you don't understand it, then you have to look it up. Message me, email me, ask me. I'm more than happy to try and teach you. I can send you a link to my webinar that goes over kind of how to look at this type of stuff. And then last but not least, guys, if you're interested in trying a healthy fat burner, you got 24 more hours to take advantage of the special that's going on right now, where Physique Fat Burn plus Curb, which is appetite suppressing mix, is actually on sale. It's 25% off. And then you get a free Fit with Liz 45-minute one-on-one consult with me. So if you're interested, go ahead and type fat burn below. I will reach out to you. Hope you guys learned a little bit from this. I'm trying to save you from dying. Okay, please take care of yourself. There are better, healthier ways to burn fat. All right, love you guys.